Today's episode is brought to you by
patron Count Moribond, my homie from the Rainbow. I'm not gonna say what he does, but this guy is badass. Check out his channel. He does a lot of stuff on satanic poetry and other satanic Bible studies. And also a shout out to one of our other newer patrons, Janitor Jay. I've been a fan of his for years, and
talk about nostalgia, huh?
And of course, shout out to our usual patrons, Ryan Zacher and the Fly Attractor. No thanks to you. Like, comment, and subscribe. Or if you want to see more.
Suffice it to say, we were there back in the day, helping build the scene.
Welcome to a brand new
Captain Marcus McCunwell and crew, frequent privateers of the Royal Crown, also known on the high seas, Captain Anarchy. You and your crew stand accused of treason on the high seas against the American colonies. How do you plead for you and your crew, sir?
So basically, I was talking about how the 80s punk rock, and along with that came, goth and death rock and horror punk, which, you gotta understand, my first album that I ever got when I was a kid was Kiss Alive, 1975. And when Kiss was kind of new and the hot thing, and everybody liked Kiss, not kids, it was before they became like a comic book shock rock kids band with these catchy, simple songs. People try to say they were satanic and Kiss meant kings and Satan service. Other people said, no, it means keep it simple, stupid. Because if you want to be famous, just keep the songs real simple and basic and catchy that everyone can relate to. And that's where it was at. And of course, along with that, I liked all the bands of the day.
I mean, come on!
When I was a little kid, I used to ride around with my mom in the car, and the stuff that was played on the radio, what became glitter rock, and offshoots glitter rock. It was Rod Stewart, Sweet, Chick Trick, and Elton John when he was kind of glitter rock, doing Betty and the Jets, and also the dirty rock and roll, like Aerosmith and, the Rolling Stones. And I also liked, some sort of prog rock, Pink Floyd and...
I'd say we sound like Pink Floyd.
My uncle, Victor, was on the head of the game musically. And so in 77, 78, specifically got me and my next door neighbor, Don Secchi, aka Dawn of the Dead, who became the bass player for my old punk band, HP, back then known as Hated Principles. Got us into new wave, and our drummer Jose Kid Chaos, and other kids from the neighborhood. At the time, Don's older brother Cats, who a lot of people know as Gorg Cats, because later on he was in a band called Organized Dorks. He just actually passed away. Everybody knew him. He was like a legend in the punk and goth scene and whatnot. That was Don's older brother. He was like the older brother on the block.
And then what happened?
We kind of discovered punk on our own.
Oh, you little new wave dudes gotta get into punk.
Yeah, so there was a lot of girls that took us under their wing and kind of schooled us in punk rock and cut our hair and clothing and paraphernalia. There was Minnie and Renee. There was also Dana and Mirka. And there was Tequila Mockingbird. She was the one from Hollywood. Showed us around Hollywood and introduced us to everyone and turned us on to all the cool bands and helped us get into shows.
And then what happened?
One notable guy was our friend Eric McVeigh, rest in peace. He passed away decades ago, a.k.a. Shooter, who later was actually in HRP, the Hollywood Rat Patrol punk rock gang. At one point, I got kicked out of my house for coming home with a shaved head, and I was late coming home smelling like beer from I went to go, saw Black Flag at the whiskey that night or something. My mom flipped out and kicked me out of the house, and Eric was living in a squat, the infamous Sarah Street squat in North Hollywood, which was a house that was being foreclosed on because the owner had passed away, and her son was squatting in the guest house in the back with he was like a hippie, heavy metal rocker type guy, sort of hippie-ish though, with he had some young girlfriend, like a 15-year-old runaway rocker chick or whatever that was like living with him there back there drinking. And
that thing you pulled in the calf today was pretty severe.
Yeah, well, the extreme always seems to make an impression.
And he let the punks live in the house up front. He was maintaining the electric bill. There was no gas, and we were roughing it with a bunch of other punks or whatever, and we spent a lot of days down on Melrose or partying like on Hollywood Boulevard at the abandoned Hotel Hell.
Welcome to your doom.
so you want me to tell you the story of my life.
Like I said, that's what I do. I interview people. I'm a collector of lives.
And at that time, I remember Katz used to make fun of us because he was like into classical music and headed towards like the chess club nerd crowd.
All I remember is I woke up 3 days later.
And what happened in those 3 days?
Very shortly thereafter, he kind of saw the light and followed suit along with us into the punk scene.
Chaos is a ladder.
And then we developed our band, The Principles, and started doing recordings and playing support slots for all the major punk bands like Circle One and Sin 34 and Shattered Faith and Dr. No and RKL.
Get on with it.
Yes, get on with it!
So lots come to waste. Doesn't always got. So we can listen to. The government doesn't care about you. You think they clean it up and they don't. They put it inside your food. Cancer versus all your mother. You shut a slice from one place to another.
Touring up and down the coast, we would play at infamous venues like Ruthie's Inn in Berkeley and in San Francisco at the Mabuhay Gardens and on Broadway with bands like Fang and Sado Nation, and we even played up there with the Circle Jerks. And down in LA, we would also play a lot of backyard parties all over town in general, but largely on the west side and in Dogtown. And we teamed up sometimes with bands like Chaotic Noise, who later became XL. We also played a lot of shows at West Side clubs such as the Club 88 and the Music Machine, venues like that. And we played at the legendary Massive Federal Building rally in Westwood alongside our brother band, Stukas Over Bedrock, opening up for Red Scare and a slew of other bigger name, well-known punk bands of the day. Oftentimes as the direct support slot band for groups like The Mentors, Bad Religion, and Social Distortion before they got really big.
Anything less would be uncivilized.
We aren't old school. We literally helped them build the fucking school to begin with.
Oh, yeah!
And Katz did like all of our graphics, him and Don.
Oh my.
Meanwhile, we forged forward with our band. We'd be playing backyard parties, and I'd drop acid and be flipping out and unable to perform. And they'd ask me if I wanted to go to a gig with them, and then they'd have to wait for hours for me to get ready. And late for recording studio sessions, too high, too drunk, and my voice is blown out from the night before to be able to competently record my vocals. So we're just wasting time doing take after take after take, and they're going, dude, why did you party last night? Your voice sounds like shit. And later on down the line, when the band fell apart after '87, when Katz was the one that actually put out our album.
But why? Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
Because the various members in the bands that were contributing to the music writing, we were pulling away from each other in different directions by then. Like me and Mick Wicked and Kid Chaos, we wanted to play metal and power metal and thrash metal, epic metal, and we wanted to sing about medieval themed stuff. Hence, we were already developing the concept of Devil's Alley, whereas like Don, Katz's brother Don of the Dead, he wanted to focus on just staying a old school punk type band.
Whatever.
But Katz put our album out actually, on vinyl. He continued on with the name, doing like D-beat, grindcore, crush punk, DIY, raw punk type stuff. I was cool with that as long as it always featured at least one original member, either his brother Don on the bass or, Jose on the drums, or, he even guested me on the vocals a few times. And I was saying that sometimes if Jose couldn't do the drums on some tracks, he would have Big Bear Frappier, formerly of the Rim Pest, one of the early West Side punk bands that preceded us. And they were actually preceded by the Weasels, who were famous for the Vito and the Regulator, baby, mistake. The Weasels came first, then the Rim Pest, then my band HP Hated Principles.
Coming soon to both Lost Anarchy magazine and Don't Watch Mojo channels. We got some badass graphic novel reviews.
And the Masters of the Universe.
Eternity War Volumes 1 and 2. He-Man Thundercat. Yes, Thundercats and He-Man did a crossover. Also got some League for a Gentleman. Hitchhiker's Guide by DC Comics.
The celebrated best-selling novel.
The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
What is this thing? It's the guide. It's got everything you need to know to survive in the universe.
Well, I can't wait to start that. And Murdered Children 2099.
And then...
Some more Star Wars Legacy. I don't got all of them. I'll have that collection real soon.
Patience, Viceroy, patience.
Now officially uncanon. And of course we got Grendel. Yeah, we got a few more of those.
And then...
Scud, Disposal Assassin, the whole shebang, which is big, giant Bible size. It's huge. Also, I got Alien Legion at Civil War, which you saw with the Fourth Age.
Alien Legion was a precursor to all of these things.
You must remember this.
Legionaries live rough and they die hard.
On them...
Yeah, I've been lagging with Elric. Not in the mood to read about him yet. And of course, Judge Anderson. I'm only halfway through it, and it feels like a very dark and gritty Calvin and Hobbes book. You know, the feel of it. Later, bitches. And I'm asking all you people, because we're living in a check out our Patreon, and linked in the description as you can tell, and support our cause. We don't get paid for this shit.